What would you do for power? Would you betray your closest allies, call upon the gods themselves, or even sacrifice your own blood? Meet Olympias, the mother of Alexander the Great, feared, revered, and remembered as perhaps the most ruthless woman in history. But was her ambition madness or destiny fulfilled? Stay with me, because by the end of this video you might just find yourself questioning the very nature of power. The story begins in the ancient kingdom of Epirus, where Olympias, born as a Molossian princess, quickly learned that survival demanded more than charm. It demanded cunning. From the moment she became Queen of Macedonia, she wasn't content to stand behind her husband, King Philip II. She sought to rule with him and over him. They say she slept with snakes in her bed, a devotion to the god Dionysus. But was it religious fervor or a calculated display of her power? Imagine the whispers in the palace. Is Olympias divine or just deadly? When Philip sought to replace her with another wife, she didn't merely step aside. She made sure the wedding ended in chaos and bloodshed. Ever thought your family drama was bad? Imagine having a mom who might just call the gods to back her up in an argument. But her ruthlessness wasn't limited to palace intrigues. Let's talk about her most famous weapon, her own son. From his earliest days, Alexander was groomed for greatness. Olympias whispered in his ear that he wasn't just mortal. "You are the son of Zeus," she told him. This wasn't a bedtime story. It was her battle strategy. By instilling divine confidence in Alexander, Olympias made him unstoppable. When King Philip was assassinated, stabbed at his own wedding, rumors pointed to Olympias. Did she orchestrate his murder to ensure Alexander's rise to power? The evidence remains shadowy, but consider this. She ensured her son was crowned within days of Philip's death and his rivals. Well, let's just say they didn't last long. But if you think Olympias stopped once Alexander became king, think again. Her ambition burned even brighter, especially after his death. Now, let's dive into what might be her most chilling chapter. When Alexander died unexpectedly in Babylon, the empire he carved out began to fracture. Olympias refused to let his legacy, or her control, slip away. She declared herself the guardian of his infant son, Alexander IV, and unleashed a reign of terror to keep the throne within her grasp. She ordered the execution of political rivals, including women and children. Imagine, a grandmother orchestrating the deaths of innocent heirs to secure her grandson's throne. Ruthless? Without question. Honestly, she's like the Game of Thrones character you love to hate. Only she's real and scarier. But even the most cunning players in history have their limits, and Olympias was no exception. Her final act is one for the ages. Olympias's enemies eventually rallied against her. Betrayed and captured, she faced her execution with the same fearlessness that defined her life. Refusing to kneel, she accepted her death, knowing her name would echo through history. And here we are, thousands of years later, still speaking of her. But here's the twist. Was she truly ruthless, or simply a product of the brutal world she lived in? Can we judge her, or does her story reveal something darker about humanity itself? History is filled with figures like Olympias, people who challenge our understanding of power, morality, and legacy. If you want to uncover more hidden stories of history's most fascinating figures, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Together, we'll keep exploring the mysteries of the past and the lessons they hold for the present. Hit the bell icon too. You won't want to miss the next story. Olympias' story isn't just history, it's a mirror reflecting the extremes we'll go to for ambition, survival, and love. The question is, what would you see in that reflection?